only at the mic.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
The Doctor of Discernment is now online.
You know, much like my show, in that it's a local reaction to things that are happening on a federal level.
Dispensing a daily dose of common sense. No prescription required.
Wow, do I have a boatload of stuff for you, from the crazy to the absurd. Let's start getting into it because, I mean, it is bizarro world out there. And I say, if it's obvious to me, should be obvious to everybody. Oh, wow. Who could have seen this coming?
This is the Fourth Hour with Greg Belfrage.
Hold on to your butts.
Broadcasting from the basement bunker beneath Kettle Radio. Welcome to the Fourth Hour. The president is at it again. Let's go to his True Social account. I love the president's True Social account. He's calling out a number of things. This was about an hour ago. This is Biden's stock market, not Trump's. I didn't take over until January 20th. Tariffs will soon start kicking in, and companies are starting to move into the U.S. in record numbers. Our country will boom, but we have to get rid of the Biden overhang. This will take a while. Has nothing to do with tariffs, he says, only that he left us with bad numbers, but when the boom begins, it will be like no other. Be patient. That's difficult for Americans. Be patient. And we've talked about that on the radio show. Just a lot of people, they want everything. They want it right now. They expect it. Also, what is the president saying here about 60 Minutes? Let's take a look at this. The case we have against 60 Minutes, CBS and Paramount, is a winner, a true winner. They cheated and defrauded the American people at levels never seen before in the political arena. Kamala Harris, during early voting and immediately before Election Day, was asked a question, gave an answer that was so bad and incompetent that it would have cost her many of the votes that she ended up getting. He says, it was a disastrous answer. 60 Minutes and its corporate parents, in order that this not have a negative impact on her, removed and deleted Kamala's entire answer, every word of it, replaced it with a response that she gave later on to an entirely different question. The new answer was not good, but it didn't show gross incompetence like the one that was removed by 60 Minutes. In other words, 60 Minutes perpetrated a giant fraud against the American people, the Federal Elections Commission, and the Federal Communication System. Despite all of the above and Paramount, CBS, 60 Minutes admittance to the crime, and with other similar corrupt removals of answers to questions, the failing New York Times, which is fake news both in writing and polling, claims that people said that the case is baseless. They don't mean that. They just have a non-curable case of Trump derangement syndrome, possibly to the point where the Times interjection makes them liable for interference, he's saying, including in elections, which we are intently studying. The bottom line is that what 60 Minutes and its corporate owners have committed is one of the most egregious illegalities in broadcast history. Nothing like this. The illegal creation of an answer for a presidential candidate has ever been done before. They have to pay a price for it, and the Times should also be on the hook for their likely unlawful behavior. It's vital to hold these liars and fraudsters accountable. Now, this makes me laugh, and I'm not laughing at the president, nor am I laughing at what he's saying. I think it's pretty serious, and I love the bold way that he goes after this stuff. I do. I love the way that he just stands firm. And he is, I have said how many times have you heard me say this guy is unflappable? He just try as hard as you can. It's just, he just brushes it off and away he goes. It is just something incredible. So the Trump administration yesterday celebrating 100 days. Let's get rid of that screen here. This was a panel on the Faulkner Focus. So Trump's first 100 days bringing praise from independents and frustration from younger Democrats. So let's dive into this story just a little bit. This is an independent voter. What I like most about Trump is that he's doing what he said he was going to do, whether you like or dislike his policies. In the past, a lot of politicians said what the crowd in front of them wanted to hear and then did what they wanted to do. This president is doing exactly what he said in rapid speed. Dominic is the voter who said this. He's spot on, man. He is absolutely spot on. He is doing exactly what he said he was going to do. He was out there on the campaign trail prior saying, this is what I'm going to do. And what does he do? Boom, 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 boom. Absolutely incredible. So let's get to the reaction. Forgive the Batman stuff. The reaction from Andrew, a college-age Democrat voter, voiced frustration not only with the president, but with his own party's direction. He said, I think a big failure with the Democratic Party in recent elections is almost a calling to anoint a person, with 2016 clearing the field for Hillary, a similar thing to a lesser extent for Biden, and now with the most recent election with Kamala Harris, he said. I think this is very insightful where he's going here. He said, the last time that, now he's talking about, it's a Democrat talking about the Democrat Party. He's saying the last time that we had a truly open primary was, in my opinion, 2008. And look at what happened with Obama, he says. So Andrew's concerns come. New polling from Harvard Kennedy School's Institute of Politics shows congressional Democrat approval among young Americans falling like a rock, baby. It's falling like a stone, down from 42% in 2017 to 23% today. Young Democrats are having none of this stuff. They're just having none of it. Where the old Democrats and where they're taking the party, and you've got these young guys who are just having absolutely, or I should say young voters who are having absolutely nothing to do with it. It's absolutely amazing as you watch this unfold. Let's go back to, and I talked about this on the program this morning. This is a story from Newsmax about the president's interview yesterday. This aired yesterday. And this is with ABC. And he said in an interview that, yeah, he could get Kilmar Abrego Garcia from El Salvador. He said, the person that you're talking about, you're making this person sound, this is an MS-13 gang member, a tough cookie, been in lots of skirmishes, beat the hell out of his wife. The wife was petrified to even talk about him, okay? So he told Terry Moran this. And so Moran had asked him what he's doing to comply with the Supreme Court order that his administration must facilitate his return to the United States. In other words, and I want you to understand this, because the legacy media continues to misrepresent this. That's completely by design, that the U.S. Supreme Court has said you've got to return him to the United States. No, No, that's not what they said. They said the Trump administration must facilitate his return. The legal definition here is very, very important. They must facilitate the return. So if El Salvador says, we want to return him, okay, the United States would have to, okay, we will facilitate his return to the U.S. They did not say that the Trump administration must return him. They said they must facilitate his return. Now, you start getting into these legal things, and the way these are phrased is critical. It's absolutely critical. And the media is deliberately, in my opinion, deliberately misrepresenting this in an attempt to confuse Americans. And I think this is a low information voter. As Rush Limbaugh used to say, the low information voter, this stuff works on them. You know what's going on. You go, right? You'll have none of it. So the president saying, well, the lawyer said it was a mistake that was here. That I'm not sure what he's referring to here when he says that was here a long time. Was not appointed by us. And he's saying this lawyer should not have said that. So he talked about Abrego Garcia being a member of MS-13. He's not an innocent, wonderful gentleman from Maryland. And Moran says, well, I'm not saying he's a good guy. It's about the rule of law. This just makes me want to choke on my lunch. Seriously, it's about the rule of law. Terry Moran, ABC, they're going to school us, are they, in the rule of law? Oh, please. So the president said he came into our country illegally. And Moran said, well, you could get him back. There's a phone on this desk. And the president said, I could. And if he were the gentleman that you say he is, I would do that. I'm not the one making this decision. You want me to follow the law. If I were the president that just wanted to do anything, I'd probably keep him right where he is. So, and Trump got frustrated with Moran during the interview, and there are a lot of stories that are out there. And go take a look at some of them, especially the ones on the left, because they're having a meltdown. Seriously. One of the things about the Biden administration was so frustrating, man. You watch the Biden administration and the media, and they're off at all of that crap that they were pulling on the American people. And it was just so incredibly frustrating. There wasn't a day that it's like, man, do I want to continue? Do I even want to go to work? I mean, then I'd look at the news each day. I'm like, this is, what's going on in the country. It's garbage. My job to tell you about it, whether I like it or not, and certainly we did. But it's like depressing day, and now it's just I love it. I got to tell you very, very sincerely, I just absolutely love what I see happening. And to watch the disarray on the left, I'm like, as bad as you think it is, it's like Democrats. Oh, you think we're bad now? Hey, we're going to show you that we are even worse than you think. They're out on the Capitol steps and they're singing Kumbaya and all of this a couple of days ago. And then last night they pulled this all-nighter, Democrats in the Senate. And that, we talked about that on the air this morning. And it's just like, man. Okay. It's like, there's nobody in the Democrat Party, at least at this point, there is nobody who has said enough. You get a few consultants who say, hey, don't go here. We got to stop this. I think not everybody has lost their minds. But most of them have. Most of them have, especially those in elected leadership, with the exception maybe of John Fetterman, Senator John Fetterman. The one guy who hasn't completely, totally seemed to have lost his marbles, but the rest of the party, what is this? It's just absolutely incredible. Just wild. Okay, there was let's go to townhall.com. I'm laughing because I love Matt Vespa. Matt Vespa over at Town Hall. Did you miss Trump beating ABC News like Sugar Ray Leonard last night? So let's get to this. The president was feisty, uncompromising, willing to go as many rounds as possible to punch ABC News in the face. Pushback on deportation policy, and this is a big story this morning. Reporter Terry Moran was the sacrificial lamb for this interview. Trump said ABC News is atrocious, right to their face. And this is the thing I admire about Trump. He's going to say what he thinks, and he's going to tell this to anybody. He's going to tell them, right? He doesn't care who you are, media or world leaders, or he's going to tell them to their face what he thinks. That kind of candor is just unheard of today. Everybody's lying. I mean, we live in a world of liars. They're out there and they're misrepresenting things. And so Trump is out there and fighting. And I agree with Vespa here. It was vintage Trump, period. And the media was once again reminded why he's president and not Kamala Harris. So let's see Trump getting sassy here.
A legal note fraud is a crime. There have been no referrals to the Justice Department at any.
Well, you don't know that, do you? How do you know that?
Have there been referrals to the?
Silence.
How would you know that there were no referrals? I think there were referrals.
They generally, all right, there's been no investigation from the
How do
Justice
you know
Department.
that?
I'm asking you, sir.
No, you're not asking me. You made a statement. You're not
Now
asking
I'm asking you.
That was a statement.
Now
that you
I'm
made. There
asking
have-
you.
Yes. Have there been? Yes, there have.
So
Grabbing that clown and just mopping the floor with him. See, I love this stuff. How are you not just like cheering? I mean, I want to grab, I think it was Rick who had told me, Rick is a regular listener and caller. And I think it was Rick who had said once, I just want to grab a bowl of popcorn, man, and sit back. And yeah, how do you not? And this story goes on. So that's Matt Vespa over at townhall.com. And my friend, that is a wrap from the bunker for today. Hey, you made it to the end of the video, so you are part of my gallery of champions. I want to thank you in particular. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you'll come back tomorrow. I hope you'll bring a friend with you. So until tomorrow, I'm underground and gone.